Hi, welcome to Clutter Bravado.
Yes, and it's the energy. It's not just about the stuff.
So we should probably just get into it, right?
Let's go.
Good morning, Laurent.
Good morning, Elyse.
It's just barely still morning.
No, it's barely still morning, but it feels like it's nighttime.
It does.
It's a downpour here.
It is a downpour. It's a crazy amount of rain. I'm glad that I'm inside today. I'll say that.
That's for sure.
Yeah, how are you doing?
Good. I got that, crowd that I
That
think you
everyone
gave me.
had that.
Yeah.
I probably did. Yes. I mean, anyone who's listening to this right now is probably like, where have you guys been? The answer is I had the flu. I had a flu that lasted for almost 2 weeks. It was horrible. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. I was completely down, and I haven't felt that sick in a really long time.
Yeah, and it's going around. I mean, most I haven't had it that bad, but I'm definitely
You're a little sniffly.
a little sniffly.
Yeah.
A little out of it.
Sorry if I gave that to you.
No, I'm sure it's not. I would have gotten it anyway, but it seems to be going around quite a bit.
Or you may have gotten it from the gym, which is also, I think, one of the places that everyone's had it. And so I feel like anytime that I've been like in public, like my entire acting class, one by one, everyone was gone with the flu. It was crazy. But luckily I am on the mend because my show is this weekend.
I know.
My one-woman show, Pickled, goes up on Friday. I'm so excited. And great news, I sold out on Saturday. So I still have tickets available on Friday and Sunday. And if you're listening to this and you're like, I kind of want to go, I'm kind of interested, there's a link in the show notes. You can find it. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you come. And that's not just because I'm like shamelessly self-promoting, but because it's something that means a lot to me. And it's a genuinely fun time.
It is a fun time. I saw it a year and a half ago. I'm excited to see it again.
Yeah. And you're going to be helping me out with it, which I really appreciate.
I will be at the ticket counter.
You will be at the ticket. You're my box office guy. So anyone that is like, when you check in, you're going to see Laurent's beautiful face.
Yeah. But yeah, if you come, I will check you in.
Perfect.
That's about the extent of what I'm going to do for the show. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, having that on the horizon and having been sick, I am absolutely taking it easy. And for anyone that was in Palm Springs, you probably didn't notice, or probably noticed that we were not there. Again, big part of that was, I was dying.
Yeah, it was
not well, but also I saw so many photos and videos from the weekend in Modernism, the Modernism show in Palm Springs. It looked incredible. It looked really, really, really fun.
I think the SIA party was a big hit.
The SIA party was a big hit. I even had a dress. I'm so sad. I'm so sad that I missed it. That unfortunately Influenza A ruined all my favorite plans.
But you are going to be 100% by Friday, so
Yes.
you will be ready to go for your show.
Yes. So there will be that. And I'll be able to see a few of our friends that I wasn't able to see in Palm Springs that are going to be coming to the show. So I'm very happy that I'll be able to connect with people that way at least. But not in Palm Springs. But I wonder what the weather's like in Palm Springs today, because it is
it's very nice.
downpour today.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be worse.
We're good.
So do you have any other news, or should we get to our guest?
I think we should get to our guest, because I think that most of the past 10 days have been devoted to laying low. So
Yeah, we don't have a lot to report on. I mean, I've just been in bed crying a little bit.
We didn't even make it to Wuthering Heights.
I haven't even seen Wuthering Heights yet.
Which is a big success at the box office, which is great.
It is. I'm glad it's a success at the box office. I hear it's a horny fun time that has nothing to do with literature, which is also fine.
It's also fine.
I'll have to go see it. I will go check it out when, like, after this weekend blows over, when I have a little time.
It's a little bit, just to explain, it's a little bit of an inside joke because Elyse, after seeing that Jacob Elordi was in Wuthering Heights, bought the book.
I did.
And read the book. I got the cliff notes of the book, and suddenly the movie comes out, and you're like, "What? Wait,
Yeah,
what?"
because, well,
So it's very funny.
I
But
mean,
I'm looking forward to go see it.
not to ruin the book for anybody, but like, it's not a fun time. It's the most brutal. It's like a horror book. Like, it's not pleasant. It's not sexy. There's nothing sexy or like raunchy about, like, there's no like fun spiciness about it. It's actually just like a bunch of emotionally immature people being awful to each other. That's the whole book. I think that some of that carries into the movie, but then there's also like some like weird extra horniness that's added in that, I mean,
it's Jacob Elordi and Marco Robbie. You're
Yeah.
not going to spoil that, are you?
no, I feel like they could have just called it something else or maybe made a different movie, but it's fine. I'm
It's
not
fine.
mad about it. I'm not mad about it. I will still go see it. I'm excited to go support the arts.
I know, we have to go support movies in
Yeah.
theater
Yes.
and movies made with real actors.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah. Otherwise, that's it.
Yeah.
I will report on a book that I'm reading that coincides with Black History Month, but I'm not done with it yet.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, which I'm really enjoying. The lies my teacher told me.
Yeah.
I just picked it up because it was recommended in January, and it's pretty intense.
Okay, so next month we'll get a full rundown, or next episode we'll get a full rundown.
Next
of it?
episode, hopefully, you'll get a full rundown.
Okay, perfect. I'm
But-
excited to hear.
But if anybody is interested,
Lies My Teacher Told Me
Yeah.
is what the book is called.
yeah,
Cool.
pretty amazing book so far.
I'm still in the middle of Dostoevsky. I wish that I could say, oh yeah, I'm way further ahead. The last episode, I said that I was on page 200 and something. I'm on page 400 and something, but
So
I'm
it's
nowhere.
progress.
No, it still feels like halfway.
It's okay. Your month of February is a little busy. Give
It was
yourself some
not
grace.
even my January book. I haven't even made it to my January book yet because this has taken 2 months. Whatever. I'm not mad about it. I really
See,
do.
we're
love the
not
book,
mad
so
about
it's great.
anything at Clutter Bravado. We're all good. We're learning to be
Let's
gentle with
Get
ourselves.
to our guest.
Yes.
Our guest is Jason Koharik, and he is an incredible artist. He is a furniture designer, lighting designer, but calling him those things doesn't even feel accurate. Because he works in so many mediums and he's just always creating. And I loved talking to him about his process, like sort of how his brain works. That's really what we got to the meat of in this interview. And he's one of those people that's like really private. He doesn't put a lot of himself, like he has a lot of his work online and some photos and stuff, but he doesn't put a lot of himself on camera. And so it was such a treat to be able to have him really sort of like bear that side of him and so we were able to get to know him, and he's fascinating and he's so cool. Yeah.
And one thing, we not grappled, but, we're like going to a designer and furniture designer. I'm realizing that we're just interviewing artists.
Yes.
And now that we're also interviewing a few people that are outside of the design industry that are, that qualify more as artists, I realized that the dialogue is the conversation is a little bit the same.
Yeah.
And Jason fully qualifies as an artist.
Yes.
And yeah, in what he does, the way he thinks, it's kind of cool.
And also, I loved how we talked about this in the interview, but he also works with other people's art. So he will sort of like add his flair and his touch to things. And that's something that we haven't really had a lot of.
No.
Yeah. So it was really special to have him. But it was a great conversation. Also, it was a great lunch with him. I loved getting to know him. He's spectacular. So should we get to it?
Let's go.
Hi, this is Elyse from Clutter Bravado podcast. Clutter Bravado is an independent podcast, and as any independent artist will tell you, getting off the ground is a little challenging. If you like what you're hearing, please like, comment, share, subscribe, support us in any way that you can on the platform where you're listening. And follow us on Instagram at Clutter Bravado for exclusive clips, events, and giveaways. We quite literally could not do this without your continued support. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for listening. Tell your friends, and please follow and subscribe so that you can be the first to have access to our latest episodes. Now, back to the show. Welcome to Clutter Bravado. We are here with Jason Koharik. Hi.
Hello.
I've been wanting to have you on the podcast for a while. I'm a very, very big fan of your work. You are incredible lighting and furniture designer, artist all around. And I found out you're from Ohio.
I am from Ohio.
The Midwestern artists that come out to Los Angeles, there's something really special about that.
We bring our dad's tools. That's
Oh, is that what it is? Because we have so many.
There's so many of us.
Mm-hmm.
We just steal our dad's tools and we go to where there's sun and sand.
Mm-hmm.
But I still identify as an Ohioan.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Yeah. How often
Because
do you
you've
go
been
back?
here for 30.
Almost. I mean,
Almost
it's going to be
40?
30 years in
30 years?
1997. I
Oh,
believe.
yeah.
So it's going to be 30 years.
Wow.
Which I love Los Angeles for, but you can't. I think I said it at a baseball game. My son likes baseball, so I took him to a Dodgers Cleveland Indians game, and I wore both logos.
Mm-hmm.
And someone commented, and I said, "Well, you know, my heart beats here, but my blood was made there," sort of thing. So
Wow.
that's.
Yeah. Do you often go back to visit?
I do. It's been a while, and I was actually just there for my 30th high school reunion.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And being the Gen Xer graduating in 95 that I am, I still have my dearest friends that, we grew up from before kindergarten through 12th grade. And so ride or die is, now it's just a bunch of wives who are happy to have their sarcastic partners just like, go be with them for a little while. Don't come home until it's over.
I love
That's
it.
how it is. But
I love it. Okay, so when you were growing up, were you immediately drawn to art? Were you a creator from the beginning?
you know what I was fortunate that, I had both a mother and a father who are both very artistic. My mother, who, she unknowingly, I've been thinking a lot about that era, that age, and we had these women who were, she was making vision boards. So she didn't know it, and she was pinning all these things, a young 20-year-old, a young mom, and she was pinning things on a board and making these wonderful drawings and on a poster board that would be, I can remember, and looking back at it now, those were vision boards. And a father who was an amazing maker and the fixer of everything, everybody's water heater and everybody's whatever diesel engine at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you first got started sort of making things on your own, did you imagine that was what you wanted to do for a living?
Yes. I mean, my brother has reminded me a couple times now. I have an identical twin brother.
Oh, whoa. I did not know that part. Okay.
So if you see him, and he's like the stronger, more clean-cut version of me now.
Got it.
And he doesn't say hello because he's not very good at being a twin. I fake it all the time. It's great to see you. I'm in a hurry. Yeah, it's him. But he reminded me, there was a rock pile kind of along a freeway in this wooded area behind my house, one of my houses, when I was growing up. And we used to walk the fence line to get back and forth from school. And we were sitting there, and I said, one day I'm going to have a giant place, a giant building or something that I can build anything that I want, that I can make anything I want. And now I have an 8,000 square foot studio in Los Angeles, California. And I know you haven't been, and I would love for both of you to come.
I want to come so bad. I want to see
come.
it. Yeah, yeah.
It's exactly that. And he's actually reminded me. I was probably 6 or 7 when I said that.
Wow.
That's fantastic how when you have those insight as a kid, and then suddenly, a few years later you're right. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have thought about it otherwise, and he was the one who reminded me. And probably when I was complaining about how much it all costs or how hard it all is.
Once you get to the actual like adult struggle part of like making your dreams come true, it's I mean, I feel like a lot of people will sort of like lose that drive to continue, but it's for those that are able to stick to it and just like keep that in the foreground, knowing that that's where you want to go, you land there. Yeah.
Yes, I do have a 12-year-old son now, which he's very different than me, and he's growing up in a different world, and I just often smile. I said to him, I think 2 days ago, I looked at him, I said, when I was 12, I was 30. And he's, and I'm constantly telling him how much life is about, or being an adult is about. You have to, calculus and trigonometry comes up constantly. It's very difficult. You're going to be
naturally
co-signing and signing your way through life. Everything about, you're going to have to know these things.
Oh yeah.
And but I tell him, just whatever you love, whatever it is that you love now or love in the future, just stay that. Relieve yourself of the pressure. I don't know when the last time I used algebra was.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Listen, I failed calculus and I'm doing just fine.
Yeah.
No.
I'm good too.
Yeah.
And so mine was art, and I just kind of stuck with it. Art was, always something that I was doing, sculpting and painting, and I had an amazing public school. I don't know if they exist that way anymore. And it was really, there was nothing special about it. There was no money. But there was an art class in high school, my art class, art teacher, he just passed away, Mr. Bush. And we had a loft, an artist loft with concrete floors and easels and paint drawers full of Conti and paint and oil paint. And we all had our own station. We even had a rooftop that we would stand up and smoke with our teacher.
Yes.
And
I don't know. Experience. I love it.
Yeah. Now that he's passed, I'm not going to get anyone in trouble. But that really happened.
My English teacher rewarded our class when I was like 18 in college, freshman year of college. But he would always say like, we're going to go have margaritas in Downer Woods, which is like right off of campus. He's like, I'm just going to make margaritas. We're all going to like, it was great though, because you connect with your teacher in that way. When your teacher or your professor treats you like an adult and sees the talent in you, you show up in a different way rather than like talking down to you. And I love that you had that experience, as problematic as it is.
It doesn't. It's
problematic though.
Not then.
I see the pendulum swinging back a little bit. I was just having this conversation with my brother about, I guess, what we're calling Gen Z. But that's an encouraging group to me. They're kind of, I don't know. They're bringing the pendulum back the other way from I call it a grotesque caution. There's this grotesque caution that we're kind of in now, and I'm trying to balance it as a father because sometimes I just want to be like, life is harder than this.
Yeah.
But I am encouraged by what I see in this.
When you were growing up, did you have any like artist influences? Like who was sort of informing your taste as you started to develop it?
It's strange. I really think that I wasn't exposed to a lot of what would be contemporary artists at the time when I was in art school. And I did spend time, Cleveland Museum of Art is one of my favorite museums that I've ever been to. And if you ever get the chance to go, Cleveland's like Paris. Without all the other stuff. The streets are wide.
I'm gonna like pull that out and just quote it. Yeah. All right, great.
No, I don't remember being exposed to But then I realized my teacher, who I was speaking about, Mr. Bush, he was actually very good friends with Roy Lichtenstein. And he had all these wonderful stories that were mostly kind of grumpy or old man complaining about maybe ending up as a high school teacher when he should be in New York with his best friend. But I think, there was always a conceptual nature to what I was doing. And even now, I think, I paint and I sculpt and I make lighting and furniture. And I definitely, I think, maybe found a zone with the lighting where people know me that way. But writing is the thing that I love to do the most. And so everything that I do actually comes with this storyline. And I don't expect on Instagram, I mean, I don't know, people don't read an email that tells you what time to be there or what, so I don't really expect that anyone's reading it. But when they do, I think they get the bigger picture that this is a novel I'm trying to write, and that's where all my art has come from. Medusa has always been my answer when asked who my favorite artist is.
Oh, I like that answer a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Why? Can you?
Yeah.
I mean, there's something, about the fabled kind of storyline of it that, I mean, from a sculpting standpoint, when you're trying to achieve, I guess, realism, the kind of capture of emotion and this, I've always, romanticized the idea of a sculpture garden of just captured,
Yeah.
I have you sort of moment.
Wow.
In the garden. But, there's artists that certainly, I think have influenced my work a lot or that I look at. I mean, I do love Cy Twombly and contemporary artists that, kind of balance in both places. My French, oh my God, here we now have to do this. Louise Bourgeois. Also an amazing conceptual artist that I think is, somebody I look at a lot at least.
Yeah.
Caravaggio.
Yeah.
The dark, that's the lighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because a lot of your lighting has so much shadow that's really built into it. And I think that's something that really sets your work apart. It's that, and also the Art Nouveau and Art Deco influence as well. You play a lot with color and with geometric shapes in your lighting and creating sort of depth in a space or against a wall, creating a shadow as well as the light. I think that's something that's really that carries through.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm very lucky to have the space that I have, and I've always said this about painting and art and all of this. I try to create these vignettes that tell a story, and I really am building out and it takes me quite a bit of time to build them. I do like to shoot lighting at night. I always have. I'm always kind of, you have to do the first dib style white backdrop, but lights are meant to illuminate the dark, and when you're going to most often see them is going to be when it's dark. And so I try to create that mood a lot with what I do, or capture the shadow or sunset. I have a wonderful kind of bat wing sort of windows coming across, and I have, especially during the summer, light that's just unsayable.
Wow.
Yeah.
I need to go to this space.
You do.
I really do. And I wanted to come because you had a big sort of, I don't want to call it a sale. It was you had a big event at your studio where you were sort of clearing out a lot of your collection.
I did.
It was called Going Out for Cigarettes.
Going Out for Cigarettes.
Yeah.
It confused a lot of people.
It's so,
I
loved it. I loved it. And actually that painting, I want it. It's so cool.
Thank you. It's all of my sales have always had a theme. During COVID, it was The Sky Was Falling. I was really charmed by the story of, I think it's Henny Penny and the chicken.
Chicken Little, yeah.
Yeah, Chicken Little. There was a narrative that was running through the world at the time that I felt very appropriate. I did. There's a quote from, what was it? It was a candle related one. I'm trying. Take the fire. I'll take the fire with me. Now I'm trying to remember who was asked, but there was an artist who was asked, if your studio was on fire, your home was on fire, what would you take? And he said, I would take the fire.
Oh, wow.
And I always thought about that. Like, are you talking about the passion? You know, I get it if you are. Or are you physically trying to remove the fire from your work? So I had that. But going out for cigarettes was, you know, people thought I was leaving the business altogether, which, I don't know. And when people started getting confused, like, maybe I am. No. And so I let the storyline ride. But I was getting rid of my my vintage collection.
Okay.
There's always been such a confusion because I played in both worlds, and I think that it was such a hard thing. I mean, it's in writing, but again, I don't expect people to read. But there was such a hard kind of definition between those two worlds, especially in my space. It was this. It's this. You know, people would describe it as like the Willy Wonka factory of I mean, everything, really. And so it was mixed in there, and it was confusing. And I understand from a client's point of view. So I was getting rid of my 20-some-year vintage collection, which is still very thick and heavy piled in my studio if you're looking for it.
Wow.
But
Wow.
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's like you start selling them, and then you're like, and yet there's more. There's more. When you're a collector, there's just still always more.
Because you've also been through this same
I've
thing.
been through
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Well, I'm in this space, which I know the camera is pointed in this direction, is beautiful, but I'm just surrounded by beauty, and there's, you know, now everything I'm looking at, I'm like, is that new? What is that? And then the sculpture and the painting, the art, I'm constantly,
Yeah,
you know, my peripheral vision is collecting as we speak. So.
Perfect. I love it.
But I
So,
stopped.
With your vintage collection, though, something that's interesting about your vintage furniture is that you would often put your touch on it. So you would either completely redo it or like just sort of reworking it a little bit. So tell me about what that process looks like for you.
It was, you know, in the beginning, and I have to say, you know, back then, and maybe this was, I can't even put the timeline in perspective, but it had to be the early 2000s. Whenever Craigslist became this thing, and, you know, that's a Luddite would be safe to say. I didn't have a cell phone. You know, a cell phone is new to me.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't participate in any of it. But Craigslist, I became this thing. I started, you know, I created this set of search words that were anomalies. Nobody knew what they had because First Dibs wasn't what it was, and Vintage Collection wasn't what it was. And so I was coming across the most incredible things in any state that I could find them. I mean, Eileen Gray transit chairs. I have these, you know, I've collected the stories with them. And so, you know, I think it was in Highland Park before Highland Park had a coffee shop. And I'm standing in, you know, the movie Training Day. And there's the teardrop tattoo. And this is a real story, and there's a gun and a pile of cash on the table and an Eileen Gray transit chair.
Whoa.
And the young gentleman said it was in his grandmother's, it's an IKEA chair that was in his grandmother's storage unit in Bakersfield. And I was like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And then for whatever, I don't know, psychopathic reason, I reduced the price. I was like, I'll give you $180.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. Sounds terrible to say out loud now, but it's so long ago that I don't feel so bad about it. But I would find these vintage pieces and you know, artists and designers that I was collecting and that I was fond of. And then I was applying, you know, really a fashion kind of background. In Los Angeles, I became a wardrobe stylist in commercial and TV and video. In fact, one of them lived in this building who I'm being back in this building is bringing back wardrobe racks and hangers up the elevator. But I would kind of apply to a fashion. I wanted to think about furniture the way that you would tailor a suit and the way that you would put together an outfit. And so I had access to runway fabrics. And so you'll see a lot of Marc Jacobs fabrics covering. I would line them and cover, you know, Carlo Molino or Scarpa sofas and things like that. And so they became, and I would tell people, now it's a little easier. You know, you can't have more than one of these things in a room.
Right.
Unless you have all of them. and then it looks like this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Wow.
So your art, I mean, because it's, we have not a dissimilar background. I didn't do fashion, but, I did antiques and all that. And how do you qualify your passion for all of that? It's like the vision that you have.
It's it is, and I think it's actually been maybe the kind of biggest Achilles heel I've had in the industry specifically, but I think people have a really hard time understanding or defining what it is I'm doing, because it's so much medium, it's so much, I do plaster bas relief sculpture, and I hang it above the sofa that I created, next to the lamp, next to the poem, next to the candle, and I think from the standpoint of a buyer, or I work really closely with interior designers, and that's really the market that I directly go to. And somewhere along the way, they started to see the bigger picture when they were working with me. And I've been so lucky. We live in Los Angeles, so we're surrounded by all the fabulous ones. Martin Boulard, I love to death. He's really great to work with. And someone like Tamara Honey, House of Honey, her and I have had a great relationship that was very creative. And so she's somebody, I think, that was able to kind of see the bigger picture while I was doing it. So when she's thinking about allowing me to create some light sculpture that I drew on a napkin in Cafe Stella the night before that looks like, I don't even know what it looks like, but somehow believed me. And then I had to make it. And then, the sofa and the conception around all that started to filter in. And so my definition of it really was, it is a passion, and it's all of it. I really, if I had to limit myself to one of those things, I think I would be miserable.
Yeah.
What's interesting, and what I love with you is that you are allowing, like, there's no copy, there's no trend, there's no, you have a passion, you're an artist, and you let that ride. And there's no, oh well, the trend is to, whatever.
Yeah.
What's your favorite trend?
What? Modern farmhouse.
Modern farmhouse.
That's a great trend.
Or even when we did, like, a lot of us did like that Hollywood you didn't go for it. You were like, great, but this is who I am, and I love that about you, because it takes courage, because it might be a little frustrating sometimes to be like. But I really give you a lot of credit for that.
Thank you. I really appreciate you seeing it. And and we live in this world now, and there's no getting away from, what Instagram or something like that has done, especially to our world, and trend forecasting. And then you have the trend forecasters, and then you wonder how they call themselves that. And then it's like, you have the brand makers and the voices, and they're there, and you're inundated with it all. And I've been, able to keep myself outside of it a lot, in that, I have, and I say this with no arrogance, I have thousands of collections of designs, endless piles of books and drawings, and sometimes I'm just opening the page and pulling back to them and allowing them to come out in the timeline that they're coming out in. And then I'll get an order for something that I made 5 years ago, and then I'll get another, and then I'm like, what's happening? And then I'll realize somebody who actually took the chance on it that many years ago, it's found its way into the zeitgeist now. And then, then I'm sitting at my work table, and I'm like, I don't even remember how I made that. And then I go look at the shelf, and I'm like, oh, it's this. And then I find the better way, because I've grown, and then, I apply that to something, and then it becomes a new collection. And so I am, I always say I design from the inside out. And I with all the words content creators, I just I want to make content. I don't want to create content, no matter what that does, no matter where it goes. And more than often, I mean, sometimes I'll laugh at what people find, and I'm like, that's funny because I've only ever sold one of those.
Right.
It's an interesting,
Yeah.
it's an interesting way to do it. But I get to do, I guess I get to constantly make something new. And the goal is, I mean, I think the goal is that one, it's not out there already, and two, maybe it's a little harder to copy. Maybe there's more fear in doing that. Either copying it or trying to create it, and they're just like, I don't know how this guy did this. That's, I guess, my goal a little bit.
Yeah. It's interesting in looking at your collection, and there are definitely sort of movements that you have. So you will have one that's like your Art Deco lighting that was a lot of stained glass. Yeah. And so there's that, and then there's the stone. It looks like stone.
The alabaster.
Yeah. And there are, like, you can like, and you're, I hate to just call it eggs.
No, it's Fabergé eggs.
Yeah. So you have a lot of different iterations that are really similar in that same theme. And when you're in one of those sort of eras of your, like what you're creating, then a lot of those tend to be really similar. When do you move on? Like, when is it the next thing, or is it just when the idea presents itself?
Honestly, they're all overlapping, almost tragically overlapping.
Really?
And they're, I'm trying to do these things at the same time as one another. And it really is, my love of writing. And I think, it's why I'm so scared of doing things like this, is because all of the words don't come to me here. They come to me there. And then the eggs, the Fabergé eggs, I had this, and maybe somebody should turn that story. How is that not like a Netflix thing or something already? Just
Wait, tell me more.
The history of the Fabergé eggs and the loss. I think there were 60, maybe 67 of them created. The Tsar and his wife, he had the first one created for his wife as a gift, an Easter gift, maybe. I think it is. And it's just right. Opulence and gold, and I mean, just this over-expensive material in the house of Fabergé and creating this, and then it turned into this almost one-upping of, and then, the history of the loss and the collection and the dark train rides and hidden, stolen, and, the Cossacks and all of the takeovers. And so the missing are either in a landfill somewhere or in someone's vault in somewhere, and they're just, it's the depth of the storyline is so beautiful. But at the same time, I was reading a book called When We Cease to Understand the World, and I was already lost in this, kind of fantasy. I was writing something about the grotesque caution of everything, and I was longing for the time when everything was poison, the poison of everything. The walls were Scheele's green and killing everybody, and cobalt's blue and lipstick and cadmium red, and just the powders and the poisons and the tinctures, and there was something overly romantic about the idea that science, Alexander Grothendieck and Schrödinger, like these were men gouging out their eyes to see the unseeable, these tiny particles, and everybody was, they just made the Oppenheimer film. I didn't see it, but kind of, just after that time when there was this race for creating really art out of nothing, a belief that there's this tiny thing there. And so I was creating this romantic story during the time of Fabergé eggs and poison walls.
Wow.
That was really where that... And if you read the whole thing, which, my God, please don't.
I probably will. I got time. Yeah, wow.
It's interesting because the how do you say, there's a trend, or, we decided to recommit to reading. I'm luckily extremely bored with Instagram, and so I'm not even forcing myself because I can't be on Instagram anymore. And so we decided to start reading again, and it's interesting because you come in 2026 being like, all right, and I think that people should start reading artists. I think that it's really important for our human brain to read words on a piece of paper and think in a different way than on a tweet or a whatever TikTok video. I'm sure there's a benefit to those things. But I think that it can be, it's like, let's go back to also.
It doesn't have to be all or
exactly.
One. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, the balance. You can actually more recently, more than ever, because I tend to place my hands on the surface of the water. That's how I see it in my head, to try to feel what's coming or feel the vibration. And there's this real strong pendulum move, that is the antithesis of what we've been doing.
Yes.
And it's one thing to be like, oh, I love making lighting. I can make a lamp. And then you see the thing and then you look at the YouTube video. I can make a table. It's made of wood. And then, which is great. And a lot of amazing things have come out of it. And, and I always kind of point back to, there's a table that I love a bistro table. It's my favorite piece of furniture. And I love the intimacy of a bistro table. I love what happens around it. It's generally two people. It's generally candlelit. And the distance, perfect 22 inches is my distance. But, I think I called it Darling Please. And then I wrote where it came from. And I remember having too much wine and closing the bar in the restaurant and watching all the chairs get picked up and the sweeping and the bread being delivered outside the end of the night to the homeless guy who waits for it. And I just kept whispering, if I ask you to marry me right now, they'll probably bring us cake and champagne and keep this place open. And the response was, darling, please. And so designing from not the video. I mean, it's one thing to know how to make something from doing something like that, but I think where you're making it from can have, a deeper narrative. It doesn't have to, certainly. I think I'm sure people suffer through that from people who, I definitely know that nobody's like, Jason's ridiculous.
But I love the poetry. I mean, I'm a poet. That's how I got started in anything that I do. Came from poetry, and when you see the world in that way, it makes the entire experience of living more enjoyable. You're bringing elements of question and curiosity and pleasure into everything that you see, and I think that is a really refreshing way of looking at the world when. Right now we are, hopefully getting out of, and I feel that too. But in this place of like analytics and algorithms and be like, how many likes are you getting? How are we able to boost our engagement? And like, what if you had something of real substance that really meant something, that had an element of vulnerability to it? And yeah, I think that, I mean, as cheesy and romantic as it may sound, I think that poetry is a way in.
I mean, and I know that you do that, and it really is. It gives you a different way of living with what you've done. It's whether it be what you wrote or what you created, what you painted, what you made. When you have that tie, the vulnerability is I think the best word for it. If you allow yourself to be vulnerable with what you're doing, what's going to come out on the other end is going to be more than an exercise of skill. And in fact, it's, in a lot of ways, the boldness not to have skill. And that's that's where I think people get hung up in making something. I don't know how to make a lamp because I don't know how electricity works. And I want to be like, truthfully, I don't know how electricity works. It hurts at least 3 times a month, but not enough to kill me. I was warned a lot about quicksand when I was a little boy. I've never run into it.
you never run into it.
For some reason, I don't know, 3 times a year, firefighters came to the school and taught me about stop, drop, and roll. And I've yet to stop worrying about catching on fire. It's like all the things that we think we need to know, we don't. And it is holding somebody back. And we are going to move, and that is, trend forecasting. I'm sure somebody's saying it out loud, but there is going to be, the respect for the handmade because it's so artificial. I'm going to say this now, supporting the idea of Instagram and what it does, because here's the good part. I think you posted something that was like, I don't know, a polar bear feeding a giraffe who was taking care of a baby or something. And it's real because it looks real and everything's, but it's like, do we really need to have this question in our minds? Like, is this something like, do we need to ask, is this real or not? Like, why are we setting ourselves up for even having that question with AI?
Yeah.
I don't want to ask that question.
I don't want to ask that. I mean, I've spoken at length on this podcast about my disdain for it and how I feel like it's, there are things that AI would be great for. And that's the stuff that is keeping me from writing poetry and enjoying my life. And I don't think that, I mean, social media, because of the influx of AI, I think a lot of people are feeling icky about it. It makes me feel icky. I don't like to have to ask myself all the time, like whether or not something is real. And I think that should have been something that they thought about ages ago. But I also can, like, I feel like I can feel it. Like if you're looking at an AI image or a video, I have a gut feeling every time. Like there's something that is missing from that. And sometimes it's intended to provoke an emotional response. And in that provocation, it feels like, why are you doing this to me? It doesn't feel like I'm connecting with whatever it is that I'm seeing, or I'm having empathy for this thing that this character or whoever it is. It's actually just that I don't like this. Something feels wrong about it.
I think it's instinctual. I think we know to fear, we know that our body is going to set up the natural reaction to things, and it's so instinctual that, and I feel it too, and it doesn't feel good, and I need to connect to something. I'd rather, I'd rather bleed and feel the pain than numb it down and not know what it is.
Yeah.
I want to know the depth of what I'm looking at or what I'm feeling. I want to know where it came from. And I don't want to, I don't even want to ask that question in my head. Is this real or not? I don't want to hear somebody say, oh, that's AI. It's like, okay.
Right. It's a complete another waste of time.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it so irritating and a waste of energy and time. And the other thing is that, look, I'm a generation that's a big part responsible for, I think that we were into arts and knowledge. I started my career learning everything there was about a piece of walnut that came from, Lyon instead of, another region, because shit that's useless now.
Yeah.
Utterly useless. But I was, reading books and really becoming an expert in something that's completely useless. But then...
but it's charming.
It was really
charming.
interesting. And it was, we believed in it. And then suddenly with the internet and, the expansion of our horizon, because, and that's what I was telling you before, even in LA, you brought a piece of antique and you were the only one to have that piece of antique in the city. And suddenly with First Dibs and all that stuff, you typed, Louis XV walnut commode, and there's 10 pages of the thing. So suddenly our horizon expanded, and we stopped with the art. We stopped with the reading. It's like it lost its power. That knowledge lost its power because, and for the wrong reason, because at the end of the day, the people who are experts or artists, they they're the ones who know. You know that with the 15 commode, yeah, there's a shit ton, but there are very few that are good.
Yeah.
And now I feel like we moved away and we didn't realize how important an artist, a book, a piece of furniture that you bought with the knowledge that it was such and such, a piece of art that you knew what the artist meant. We didn't understand that we were losing that, and we lost that over 20 years. We just it's like antique dealer who knows anything, they're gone. And so it's nice. I mean, it would be nice to get back to that.
I feel like we are, though,
the
because
thermostat going back to be like, oh, I bought that from this artist because he meant that.
Yes.
It's like having that contact.
Exactly, because you can get whatever you want right now.
Right.
Whatever you want. You can go online and you can find exactly that thing and it will be delivered to you in 3 days. And that gets boring. That's boring.
soulless.
It's been boring and soulless. But when there is something that someone created by hand and had an experience with and had a reason for, had a concept behind, that's not something that you can get in 3 days.
Yeah.
That's not something that someone can make in 3 days. It takes time, it takes energy, and that's what gives it value. And I feel like we are starting to get back to a place where that value is really like weighed heavier than just getting something quick,
I wholly agree. And and that's what I was saying about, I think, this younger generation. And there is always this pendulum shift. I think it's moving faster because obviously everything moves faster. But, like you were saying, it's useless to know the provenance and the date and who made it and what region and what era, except that you would be the person I would gravitate to in the room when we're all standing at the bar and getting our drinks at whatever event it is. And I'm like, oh, no, there's somebody.
Yeah.
And then you realize the charm and the knowledge and what that does for connection and creation with people. It is important. And we don't, school memorizing the dates and all the presidents and all this stuff.
Right.
And sometimes, some day it's just going to be, the cachet of knowing it, I guess, is what it is. But I think with art, you have, it showcases a different level of appreciation, which I think is necessary. And I think, thanks to the arts of film and TV, which I haven't seen these, but I'm watching it happen where, what is the 80s TV show?
Which one?
It's it's about the 80s. It's, I don't know, like a nightmare. It's a Netflix thing. I'm trying to think.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things.
There we go.
So you have this kind of showcasing, whoever the art director and the stylist and whoever's putting together, I mean, you can see what it does to music. You're having, running up that hill.
Yeah,
never
that
ending
huge.
story.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're having these AI generated images of what it was like to just be kids on a bike and the street lights and playing baseball in the streets. And you're having this visual longing from this younger generation of the world was like this. What's stopping it from being like this?
Exactly.
And so I think that's the swing that I feel a little bit. And it's, I'm encouraged by it. I'm like, oh, let's see how this plays out.
Yeah.
I'd love to see if, these kids throw their phones off the bridge and then jump on BMX bikes that they the last minute find on eBay and just tear off into the night.
What's the one thing that's interesting with the movies this year, at least, that at least one, Annette, for example, was, I don't know if you've seen it, Annette Cloizot. Her movie was painting, like Flemish 17th century painting scenes one after the other.
Wow.
With huge amount of, based on the book. I felt that movie was something new for that, at least I've not seen in a really long time. And I hope that, and listening to her, she's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, her brain is just on fire. And I hope that that's a precursor to something that is going to be cool.
Yeah.
To see, movies bringing back paintings, literature. The story was absolutely fascinating, and so I hope that TVs and movies grab onto that and bring us back, or help bring us back to a little bit of the art, because
We need them.
we need it. Yeah, no, and it's a really strange thing.
Yeah.
And look, I'm guilty, because for 20 years I was like, it's like the old stuff, like we learn history and philosophy and all that stuff, and it's useless. And suddenly at 50, a little plus, I stop.
I'm not.
You are.
I am not.
You are.
Okay.
I realized that we need it so badly, so badly. And so I don't know how we get back to that, because, obviously we lost a lot of ground, but fuck, let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So you have listened to a few episodes of the show. So you know that there's something that I do with every guest, is that I ask 3 questions.
All right.
The first question is, what is the messiest place in your home?
Well, my home is my studio. And I'm the only one there.
Uh-huh.
And so right now, if you include the main body of the studio, which is across from the kitchen that I've built, because I'm actually a very clean person when it comes to my bathroom. And I have an overwhelming amount of, let's call it a wardrobe, that's like 40 feet, which is organized by color and
Oh, wow.
pressing
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
perfection.
Nice.
But the studio itself right now is just endless, beautiful antique furniture piled on top of piles on top of piles, to where if somebody asked me for something, I would be like, I don't know if it exists anymore. I don't know. It's just a giant mound of chairs.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
You would be, I don't know. But it's coming back.
That's like a really exciting mess, though. That's like a kind of mess that, like, I don't know if that counts as mess. It's stuff. Maybe it's
Collection.
clutter.
It's a
clutter.
collection.
It's fine.
It's
Yeah.
You know that photograph that goes wild? It's just a bunch of wooden chairs piled up between 2 buildings. I'm
Yes.
sure we've all seen
Yes.
it. Sometimes I look at them like, I should take a picture of this. So
Wow.
You should.
That's my message.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the main studio, essentially, but your wardrobe organized by color, and especially since you were in styling for so long, I'm like,
And there's
very
a
curious about
specific set of hangers. It's all very disgusting.
spectacular. Okay, my second question for you.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm extremely jealous. I've never been able to achieve that. And it's always been something that I looked at and being like, I want that.
I
Never
organize
did.
my closet a lot because I have to, because I'll organize it and then immediately destroy it.
Destroy
And
it,
then- yeah. Okay, my second question for you is, what is your favorite piece in this moment right now? It doesn't have to be your favorite over time, but like, how are you feeling if you have to say, like, what's your one thing that you love the
In
most?
my world, like things that I've made, it's, wow. I move through things so quickly, and I have my love with them while I'm doing it, and then I abandon them like the worst parent ever. But I'll say this for this reason. Last year was a leap year, and when I wrote about this, every year I make a candle, but I jumped ahead last year because there was a leap year. And when I was a teenager in algebra class, Mr. Saxton, I was asking him over and over why we have a leap year, and I think it was a leap year that year. And then probably just a young man in his 20, maybe he was 23, 24, 25, who knows. In my head, he was 70, so he knew everything. And he was so annoyed by the question that he described what a sidereal day is, which I don't know if you know that, but we don't have 24 hours in a day. We have 23 hours, 59 minutes, and 56 seconds, so just shy. And so over the course of 4 years, we collect those missing seconds or pieces of seconds, and we add them up into an entire day, and then we give it back. And I was so appalled by this, that because I'm very on time, I'm very much about not late, I'm already doing all of these things, and so time is very important to me. And I was really upset about it. And so I made a sidereal candle, which burns 23 candles over the course. It's very timed out using tea light candles. And every year, or every leap year on February, what do we give it?
29th, yeah.
I make something. And that year I made a candle. So
Wow.
that's the one.
Okay. I like that a lot.
See, if you asked me
That's
the same
really-
question, I'd be like, which one made me the most money?
One day I'm going to isolate that one. I want that one. It'll be
Which
my...
one? That's my favorite child. The one that made me the most money.
My last question for you is, what is your favorite space or area of your studio? Like, where do you find the most inspiration? Or is it outside of your studio somewhere else where you like to do your...
The shower.
I do think best in the shower. And wait till you see my shower in the studio. But it's not. You know, I am what people would call a workaholic, and I'm never not going. I'm never not thinking. I'm never not writing. I'm always doing this, whatever it is, this creativity. But recently, as I've started to redefine the studio and redefine the space, and I have my painting studio, which is kind of finished, and the upstairs is my bedroom and my closet. And you know, I used to not go up there because I don't sleep well. In fact, when people ask me what I'm bad at, I always say I'm bad in bed. 'Cause I can't sleep.
It's sleeping.
But I've made this kind of sanctuary, and it's, you know, it has been a place of kind of, I guess, inspiration or just self-care, which is new to me as well. It's one
That's
of those
so
self words that I've been trying to like touch, self-love or self-help or whatever self comes across my page telling me to do something different. But that is my kind of self-space, and that's also where the closet is.
When you walk into a space, what's the first thing that you notice?
Everything.
Everything?
Yes, I used to have a partner who was, it was something she and I actually shared very well, but you know, I could see both of us moving the furniture, changing the lighting. It's like I'll leave a restaurant just based on my first interaction with the Kelvin that's coming off of some lamp. And so I need, you know, mood. I always say when people are like, what lamp should I buy? And I, in my head or sometimes out loud, I'll say a candle for $2 at CVS. Some $2,000 sconce. It's like the candle will be there when all the satellites fall out of the sky, but the sconce is going to go off. But I need candlelight, light. It is light.
Yeah. Wow.
But I do rearrange every room I walk into.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You mentioned the bistro table, and I've been wondering about this, and like, we can cut this part out if you want.
No, it's fine.
But do you have a restaurant that you go to that is like your favorite spot?
Yes, I do actually. And there's, you know, I'm an Angelino, you know, out of Cleveland. I love environment. I love mood. I eat once a day. That's dinner. Dinner is a ritual that involves the right meal and candle and wine, and I'm not eating to give my body energy. I'm eating so that the picture in my head is perfect. And so, you know, it's funny. There's up the street is the HMS Bounty.
This way,
It's right there. I love that place. As I was parking, I was like HMS Bounty. But Cafe Stella in Los Angeles, in Silver Lake, underneath the Sunset Junction sign, and I am friends with the owner, and I have been going there for 22 years. And the idea of what that place is and the achievement of, you know, the true, just, it's so real, the environment that's been created there, and it's always maintained that. And I think keeping a restaurant open for 20 years is impossible.
See, I thought for some reason I thought that it was closed.
It's under a beautiful remodel.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll get yelled at for saying this, but it is the most impeccably, you know, the reason he and I are friendly, so friendly, is because we do think that same way about environment, and we bounce things off each other, and it's because I'm sitting there, and it is the right, you know, white burgundy at the right time of day. And
You know why restaurant 20 some? Because restaurateurs that I guess restaurateurs true are artists.
They are.
Those people are artists, and having a restaurant is an art, or a service, food.
My
ambiance.
favorite artists, actually. I always say my favorite artists are chefs. I give them full permission to pick a chair up and throw it across the room and have knife tattoos and fights with everybody. Because
Yeah.
imagine if I was trying to write a poem for myself or someone I loved who's just going to ball it up and throw it in the fire when we don't talk for 15 years. And like, imagine trying to put 30 people in a room and have them all feel the same way. Like all, and then do the thing, the art over and over that everyone is satisfied. It's the
And
most.
start over every morning.
Yeah.
You start over with, I'll start over with my art. But, you know, again, to go back to we need art. I think that restaurants that have lost their soul because it was the restaurant chain and the this and the that. And, you know, and second, if you had one restaurant, you needed four. And I think that that's it, unless you are, unless you can train people extremely well, like what's his name from the Bay Area, Thomas Keller,
Yeah.
who I think is probably an exceptional chef, but also an exceptional teacher. And you know, I've never worked with him, but I imagine that. Otherwise, you have a restaurant and you have to live it, breathe it, and it's your canvas.
Yes.
And you can't have three canvases in different parts because you can't fucking paint. But yeah, that's I totally relate because yeah,
Well, you obviously love to cook, right?
yeah, I you know started my introduction to life was through the hospitality industry, and I still love it. But it's an art.
I wanted to rebound in a way. It's and again, we're moving towards a place where sit down with people. It's my invention of I wanted a restaurant where there was just a canvas bag, like a dirty one at the front of the building that everyone's phone went into. There was no organization to
Awesome.
it.
Yeah.
It's just you throw your phone and figure it out on your way out. Like, that's my
Maybe you can just leave it.
impeccable on the
Yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
It's just this canvas bag that you put your phone in and sit down and look around and hear the conversations going on around you. And it's my favorite place to be. It's the only way I eat.
Yeah.
I mean, I love to cook as well. But it is, you know, that experience and that from the standpoint of engaging with an art form. I don't think there's anything like it. Plus, it keeps you alive. Apparently.
Apparently, yeah.
definitely.
it's healthy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, we did make you a wonderful lunch, and so we're gonna get to that. But is there anything that you want to plug that you have coming up, or that you want anyone to know about before we close out?
Well, I will say quickly, I just, for the first time, launched 3 collections with an outside group called Allura Lighting, and they did an impeccable job of translating the kind of, I hate the word bespoke, I'm going to say it.
Say it.
Bespoke nature of what I do into, you know, something that is achievable for a wider audience. And that was amazing to watch take place. And then Jessica Gersten, a fabulous fabulous interior designer in New York. Her and I have a very special collection coming out together
Oh wow!
Awesome.
that we made in Portugal, and we traveled there and we've been working together, and it's a great relationship, and so that'll be coming out soon as well.
Oh,
Amazing.
please do let us know
Yes.
because I mean, Jessica is a fantastic designer,
She's
and I
great.
can't wait to see what the two of you have created because
Yeah.
that's gonna be special.
I'm
So
very
do you?
excited
And
about
it's manufactured in Portugal?
We're making it in Portugal, yeah. It's you know, yeah, I worked a lot in the past with horsehair, and I have a whole series of lighting that I call the Corinthian. And then she had produced a line of furniture which is really beautiful and very unique. And you know, I kind of I was very, you know, drawn to it because it wasn't referential. It was something interesting and new, and it was an anomaly, and it held space in a room in a different way. And I was like, yes, let's see what I can do. And so I was able to apply a piece of my older collection, and then, like I said, I have a book of, I don't know, I could just, if I get old enough where all I have to do is push a Post-it note across the table and somebody
Yeah.
makes what's in my mind,
Wow.
I have those ready.
Wow. Oh my gosh. It has been
And
such
where
a
do people
joy.
find you?
Yeah.
I made a website that maybe 3 people go to. I don't know. It's
I've
called
been to it. It's lovely.
jasonkoharik.com. And then Instagram, and again, there's no contempt for the world. And it's been amazing what it is. Jason, I guess I had to put a J. Jason J. Koharik. I have cataloged everything. It's a journal. It's not a page. It really is a journal. It lays out like one if you feel like reading tiny letters and dealing with unbearable clauses.
If you do actually sit down and read it, it is lovely. And I did. So with a few.
I have to go into comments half the time. So.
Oh, it's great.
Any thoughts about you should probably put all that in like a Substack or something like that. Let people read it with bigger letters.
I honestly don't know what Substack is, but I also don't.
I'll tell you all about it.
We'll tell you all about it, but I think it's worth sharing. It's always worth sharing.
I would love to. Thank you very much. I would love to actually put it in a format where I made a book, more visual book at one point, but I would like to kind of put it in a readable book format, like actual paper that you can't swipe away.
Yeah. We'll be the first one to read it. I want to read that.
Yeah,
I do.
It'll go on the bookshelf for sure.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much.
You have been you're so interesting. I knew you were going to be fascinating. I told you right away. I was like, I think that you're going to be a fascinating guest. You're like, I don't know. This is amazing. Thank you so much.
You guys make it so easy. It's like we should just hang out. We just go to
just come hang out all the time.
That's what it's for. By the way, that whole thing is community hanging out, and we'll have lunch, but we'll have a dinner that we'll organize just to hang out.
Well, I'll plug. You don't have to put this in, but I'll plug one more thing that I used to do called Tea with Dangerous People. Invite somebody dangerous to tea. And I used to bring in people, no phones allowed, and I would make dinner or food or wine or whatever it was. Sometimes we just drew, sometimes we talked. Mostly nobody really knew each other. I didn't really know who I was inviting. 3, 5, 6. Sometimes it was when bars closed. And so I don't know who was in the room. Invite somebody dangerous to tea. I would love to do another one with the 2 of you.
I would love that so much.
That'd be fun.
I would love that so much.
There's not maybe a vampire that shows up. I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Well, we'll see.
I'm not afraid of him. That's
All right.
fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Clutter Bravado is filmed on location at the Kimberly Denman Showroom in Los Angeles, California. For inquiries about our furniture, a directory of our guests, or just to reach out with questions or comments, email us at clutterbravado@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram @clutterbravado. Thank you.